Alrighty then, my bro chumps, it is I, Daniel. You may call me the Pop Culture Dude, and today is finally the day. After making videos for this movie sequel for the past 2 years on this channel, it was the first movie 2 years ago, and now we're gonna go with round 2 with the brand new stash. So stay tuned for that. So wait in the meantime for the no spoilers, but for right now, let's get to the pro world alone. I got myself my trusty sick of it Agent Stone.
Doctor.
And too bad you have shaved the beard, but gonna throw the mustache. Down low. Come on, don't leave me hanging. Open your mouth and say, Doctor, you should stop them. Doctor, yes, way to go, you got that one. And don't mind Stone here. We have this guy that was kidnapped. Yeah, absolutely. I just pepper spray you and just wham you with that. Because you're the one that is hiding with the blue boo. Like, come on, rack your bane. You must go on. The one who has the top banana in the world full of hungry little monkeys. Ignore the Sonic 2 title. It's none other than me, Dr. Ivan Robotnik. Oh, my dad just called me Ron. So once when we go to theater, how about we go see that with the kid? And next thing you know, that's what I like this stuff. All right, cameraman, we shall move forward. So, off to the doors. Ready? Let's go in. After you. All right, cameraman, come a little closer. Looks like I am the center of paparazzi in this theater. Offering the second series of Sonic the Hedgehog. Love the new Sonic shoes, Drep. Absolutely loved it. Like the new stash, it keeps me safe when I'm shopping at night. Make sure you scan it, Stone. 90W Comics, mostly approved by Captain Nuts. Thank you very much. I appreciate your courtesy. You just stand there and be you. So, off to the screening on which theater? Alright, let's keep on going, or else I'll be home by Christmas.
Here we can see Absolute Cinema. I don't know why it's glitching like that, but if you can read, it says Morbius. The highest grossing movie in the world.
Ah, my babies. Ooh. Look what came out of my egg sack. You know what I love about advanced technology? They do what they're told. They follow their own program. They don't need time off to get drunk and blow in the water. But you know exactly what to do. Stand over there by the edge of your personal abyss and watch my machines do your job. Can you feel it, Stone?
Yes, Doctor.
It's evolution, Stone. It's evolution! Anyway, let's exit to the doors, and I'll get this comic. I'll shred it to pieces once when I burn it. If it has to page me, I'll keep it to myself. So let's go, because you are my first BFFAE before Knuckles. Let's get going. Take us anywhere to go.
Celebrate your movie fan's birthday with Big Screen Celebrations. Head over to
BigScreenCelebrations.com
to select a theme, customize names and a brief message, and schedule your celebration on this screen for just $49. Make your next trip to the movies a Big Screen Celebration.
1, 2, and 3. Gee, I say this one right here. We are almost ready for our special screening. Make sure you turn off your lights, or else I'll eventually just find your right eye. And your little dogs, too. While in the meantime, I'll be watching myself on the big screen. We're so nice when Diabolical Evil lives up to the hype. And you can see the bigger man I can be. Or I can go, come and get it, come and get it. I'm just getting too carried away. So while you excuse me, I will be silencing my cell phone. Hope you have a good day. Yeah. Thank you, Ben Schwartz. Thank you, James Marston. To us Sonic fans everywhere. Oh, no Jim Carrey? Okay. I'm okay with that. But let's begin before I leak spoilers online. Time to fight! Don't tell me about come and get it! I'm on the highlight of coming and getting! Come and get it! Come and get it! Come and get it! So what's this? First Green Hills, then the universe, then the multiverse, then who knows? Maybe I'll be enough. Full disclosure, you won't be there.
Now you've done it!
No! How is this possible? I think I just threw it up in my mouth.
Oh, can't forget this.
Never forget it.
Masterpiece cinema at its finest.
Best video game movie of all time. I am flossing.
Chaos is power! Snot rockin'! Later, hater!
I should have won, but I'll let the hedgehog slide. Okay, that almost made me fall off for my stairs. Someday I will return.
Full-on reconnaissance! Spoiler alert! I win! Too bad Sonic dies. That's right, I see the whole fight. Too bad that I didn't get the spotlight here! Sorry, no welcome break in the audience. The one and only Dr. Robotnik! Absolutely. If you want to take a picture, I would like to. We are off to McDonald's. Hopefully they have a toy of my robot. If it's the Sonic one, I will burn it into ashes. We are now at the drive-thru. Get out the credit card for Sonic 2. Just making sure there's all the Happy Meal toys available. Or else I'll send my bandits to destroy this McDonald's. Alright, more Sonic toy Happy Meals. It'll be a pleasure. Do you have any more Happy Meals of Sonic the Hedgehog 2 toys?
Wait, what? Do you have any more Happy Meal toys?
Yeah, of the same one. It could all the same? So, it's just one. That's a bummer. You have a good night too. Well, at least I got the blue hedgehog. I'll see who it is. I've got him! I finally got him! I got myself a Sonic McDonald's Happy Meal. Hopefully it has my giant robot so it can show how I'm the bigger man I could be. Let's see. The Fox Boy! He thinks he can outsmart me! I'm the outsmarterer! Well, so it's like that, McDonald's. Okay, we're not friends! So I have one final message before I sign off. Later, hater! Whew. That was pretty something, but hey, at least I got a free IDW comic that I got from the early screening, so thank you, Tyson Hess, along with the McDonald's Happy Meal. But all that aside, it was really amazing to go to this early screening of Sonic the Hedgehog 2, especially in my cosplay as Dr. Robotnik. Once again, just like what I did with the first movie. But speaking of the first movie, my theater experience was great. They loved my cosplay back then, and I had a reactive audience experience. While for this one, you could tell, it's definitely truly unique, and dare I say, I think this screening for the second movie was a lot more enjoyable than the first one, just because it was a lot more special. I got my friend Alex to play my Agent Stone, and it was great to have some die-hard Sonic fans that were really excited for most of the biggest moments, from the Easter eggs to the lore to the references to all that, and I'm here to explain it in this review. Sorry it took a while, but hey, I just want to show my fun and what was my experience of seeing the movie early, so I will get to my thoughts, and we'll go straight to why I considered Sonic the Hedgehog 2 not just a better movie than the first one, but why do I consider it as the best video game movie of all time as of right now. Sorry, Mario, but you have some competition. So, this is my non-spoiler review of Sonic the Hedgehog 2. So first things first, to start off with review, I gotta credit the director himself, Mr. Jeff Fowler. Jeff Fowler gets Sonic the Hedgehog. I never would have imagined a filmmaker that is so passionate, so dedicated to a video game IP like Sonic the Hedgehog and adapt it correctly. From the past two Sonic movies underneath his belt, it has succeeded and it surprisingly worked.
it shouldn't have worked from that old creepy Manhog design, but at the end of the day, it did, just because Jeff Fowler cares, and that's really important that he does in both of these movies, especially in the second movie, because the first movie was just a nice, simple origin story for Sonic and Robotnik and establish the world that they're in. And then the second movie that they tease from the first movie's mid-credit scenes, it's definitely the next level in the franchise. And yes, that means from this direction, it's more bigger in scope, as obvious in the trailers and TV spots. There's definitely more world building, fan favorite characters, Easter eggs, references, lore. It feels more Sonic-y in this movie than it does in the first movie. And don't get me wrong, I love the first movie for being a simple origin story, even though half of it is a buddy comedy road trip. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is more like a global adventure type of movie. And I really like Jeff Fowler's direction for these movies, and I'm in full support of him, whether that's for the future of the Sonic franchise, whether that's the Knuckles series or Sonic 3 or maybe someday the Pink Panther reboot. I give a lot of respect to Jeff Fowler as a filmmaker. Like, he is literally becoming one of my favorite directors in recent times. And I gotta give respect to the rest of the crew. The writing of the comedy, but also the line deliveries of the screenplay from Pat Casey, Josh Miller, and John Winnington, the writer of Lego Batman movie. If I got the name right, please correct. They did a fantastic job on the writing and screenplay. Yes, there are some pop culture references and kids' jokes here or there, but it's just nice quotable dialogue from the characters themselves. But most importantly, the cinematography. They got a new cinematographer named Brandon Truss, and oh boy, it looks visually impressive. Like, look at everything. From the characters to the worlds to the settings to the colors to the lighting and everything. It's just pure visual eye candy to watch. It's more like, look, I know the blockbusters don't really matter when it comes to being nominated for Best Picture in the Oscars, but come on, this is like working a piece of art from what we're seeing in the movie. But also, speaking of the animation, gotta give props to the main man himself, Tyson Hesse, who has been a part of Sega of making animations of Sonic Mania, Team Sonic Overdrive, and then having the chance to redesign Sonic from the first movie, but be in charge of the animation division in this sequel of animating the characters of Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, and some secret surprises that I won't mention in the spoiler review, but the animation of the CGI of the characters is just very top-notch, and pretty much everything about this movie, so that's one of the things I would credit the crew for. So it looks like a cinematic film of bringing a video game adapted to a movie done right. And it's great that it takes a lot of inspiration of the 1992 Sonic 2 game and the 1994 Sonic 3 game, and Knuckles, and Knuckles, and Knuckles, and Knuckles. Next thing I wanted to talk about, the cast and their characters. First of all, my boy Ben Schwartz keeps on nailing it as Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, he is Sonic. I really love his youthful, energetic, pop cultural take on Sonic the Hedgehog. Call him PG-rated Deadpool if you like. I mean, it is executive produced by the first director of Deadpool 1. In other words, I really love Ben Schwartz's take on Sonic. He does, once again, like in the first movie, there are some references that Ben Schwartz take inspiration of his other iconic roles in his career, and it's been inspired for Sonic, and he really just balances the happy positivity from Sonic, the sense of snarky, witty humor, and he really grounds Sonic in a great emotional level. And speaking of Sonic, it's great that from the first movie, he's just like a young kid that wants to be free and just enjoy his best life on Earth until then, when he gets to experience some loneliness and isolation where he doesn't feel loved, and that's where he gets chased by Dr. Robotnik, and then teams up with Tom, aka Donut Lord, and then eventually he finds the bond and he's like no longer alone because he has a friend. But now in this movie, Tom is more of a father figure than he is of a friend, and it's really great how we see Sonic's journey from being a young, youthful kid that wants to be free, and now he's becoming more of a heroic lead of his own as a great protagonist that he should be. Like, there's a lot of development growth for Sonic, including the chemistry with the characters that he mentions. And yeah, as I mentioned, James Marsden, aka Tom, his subplot with Maddie, who's played by Tika Sumpter, where they go to a Hawaiian vacation, is just pushed it to the sideline, which I know some people can criticize by saying, doesn't that make the movie a bit slow? But hey, you gotta give them a B subplot that they had to include for the characters to do something, because I know the main focus are the main 4 characters: Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Robotnik. And speaking of which, I'm going to get to Robotnik, which it's going to be obvious. So now knowing that Jim Carrey is planning to retire soon, and as a Jim Carrey fan, it's sad to hear, but I respect his decision. But if there's hope for him to return for like future Sonic movie installments, since Jim Carrey loves playing the character and he's not against the idea of coming back to Sonic 3, even the producers have a word to say like, oh, we are welcome for Jim Carrey to come back, and we're confident that he could come back for another movie. So here's what they have to say.
Jim Carrey last week said he might be stepping away from the business for a little while. What is going to happen with Robotnik? Do you guys have a plan, or are you gonna pull up that truck to Jim Carrey's house and get him back on board?
Jim Carrey is always a member of the Sonic family, and he'll always have a place in these movies and TV shows as long as he'd like to be around. We love Jim, and he's so special, and what he does with Robotnik is so incredible. We would love him as long as he'd like to be there with us.
And I have a feeling that he loves Robotnik so much that I don't think he'll be able to walk away from it.
Yeah. You also can't fill those shoes after Jim Carrey.
No, we wouldn't even try.
Yeah.
So it's still up in the air if Jim Carrey is up to return as Robotnik for a 3rd movie. I hope so, but if he doesn't, the producers are like, we're not going to recast him, because if you do, that'll be complete dookie of you of thinking of that. But what do I think of his performance? It is classic 90s Jim Carrey at its finest. From his line deliveries to his slapstick comedic antics, it's definitely a love letter to his older roles. Like, it gives me the vibes of Ace Ventura, The Mask, The Grinch, and even the Riddler from Batman Forever, and it got me nostalgic as a Jim Carrey fan. There's even a Grinch reference in it, which I won't mention until the spoilers review, but I can't wait to talk about it. But he's definitely more Eggman-ish in the sequel than in the first movie. Because the first movie, it's an origin, it's his ego Robotnik phase until he becomes full-blown Eggman at the mid-credit scenes. And it really shows that he was the perfect casting for the role. He even sounds like Eggman at some other points whenever he gets upset. Like, let's run like this stuff. I'm like, that's a pretty interesting take on Eggman's voice. And out of all the sequels that he has done in his career, from Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls, Dumb and Dumber 2, and now Sonic the Hedgehog 2 recently, I will admit, as a longtime fan, as much as I get nostalgic for Ace Ventura 2, that was the main reason why Jim Carrey was not being involved in any more sequels. But when Sonic 2 came around, I would consider it as the best sequel in his career, just because there's so much character growth and there's so much amazing things that he has done in this movie. And out of all the villain roles, I did love Grinch. Grinch used to be my favorite villain, especially from all of the iconic lines like, hate, 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 double hate, loathe entirely. But after watching Robotnik in Sonic 1, it gave me a couple of times like, I'm not sure if I want to say he's my favorite villain yet until a second movie comes out. And after when I was finished watching the second movie, I'm like, okay, Robotnik is now my favorite Jim Carrey villain performance in his career. Like, I like it a lot. Like, he's very wacky, he's energetic, but he's also menacing, evil, but also diabolically brilliant. Just like the character of what Eggman should be. Even from all of his plans could be pretty lethal, but also it could be, and you can tell. But aside from Jim Carrey's Robotnik, I definitely say there is a second scene sealed beside him, and it's none other than Knock Knock, it's Knuckles. The best addition, the best version, iteration, whatever you want to call it, Knuckles. Like, it's a very warrior mentality. He can be gullible at times, where like, I really like his attitude, how the way that he determined Sonic. And yes, the comparisons of saying like, oh, he's a lot like Drax from Guardians. Yeah, kind of like that. But Robotnik, well, Robotnik is the brains and the one that's more silly, while Knuckles just like that dynamic duo that he had with Jim Carrey's Robotnik. And it's really cool that they really adapted Knuckles correctly, from his abilities to his powers to his morals, even his origins of his lore, and it's really well developed. And that's what I'm saying, the conflict between, after watching the movie, now I can understand why he's getting his own show, and he deserves it. He was one of the best characters of the second movie. And now for the other character I haven't spoke about much yet, and people may have some criticism by saying, do you think Knuckles overshadowed Tails? Well, story-wise, possibly yeah, because Knuckles has a more complex story than Tails. And secondly, it shows how smart and adorable that Tails is. But I will... Wait, what? Wait, how do you know that? And secondly, where were you in the first movie? I'll explain more about it in my spoilers review, but the positive side that I would say is, I love the chemistry that he has with Sonic. Like, if you are a huge fan of Tails, but also a huge fan of both Sonic and Tails' bond, you're going to love this movie for that, because there is a lot of wholesome moments, a lot of heartfelt moments that you probably might tear up watching, because it looks up to Tom. It's the same way how Tom looks up to Sonic, and it's really adorable and it's really nice. Sonic characters that you've been wanting to see interact with each other for the first time on the big screen, they get all the center of the attention. And now you're probably thinking, what about the rest of the others? He works at the BP coffee shop, he really misses the Doctor, probably loves him more than a friend, but in other words, it's pretty interesting that his jealousy towards Knuckles, where Knuckles kind of replaced Agent Stone for Robotnik's assistance for finding the Master Emerald, but also fighting against Sonic the Hedgehog, which I thought that was pretty funny. And it's pretty cool that the dynamic duo, man, he's a really cool dude, and I really like that he was a part of the sequel once again, especially for what I will mention. So Tom and Maddie, so they have a B plot, which I go to Maddie's sister, Rachel, who was the woman who was pretty funny in the first movie. Or his character, Randall. I won't say much about him until the spoilers review, but the plot twist with that character was pretty obvious. Like, I kind of expected where he was going. And Shamar Moore's Randall. And I would be honest, I wish the scene was cut, or either is really good. James Marsden and Tika have really likable interactions with each other, and it's the final battle of the movie, especially how much they care about their adopted hedgehog as their son in a way. And it's really nice that they decided to come back for it. The Hawaiian wedding scenes, even though it may drag on for some viewers that just want to see the Sonic characters, but at least the human characters are not taking away the spotlight, aside from Natasha Rothwell's Rachel and Shamar Moore's Randall for one scene I will mention in the spoilers review. But other than that, it doesn't distract away from Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Robotnik, which obviously that's the more interesting plot. But you gotta give them something to do in the movie rather than just doing nothing at all. And the fact that they even got like an active role like in the Hawaii scenes, like later on in the movie, like there's a little bit of action sequences here and there. And once again, they become even more active in the final battle, just like how both of them were in the first movie, and it's really cool. And Fred Apatli's Wade, he's the same as usual in the first movie, where he's the side comic relief character, pop cultural references and jokes, and yeah, that's basically his role in this movie. Like, there's plenty more scenes with him in this movie, but yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about him. So overall, when it comes to like some critiques, I would say, that yes, there's going to be some jokes that will be intentional for the kids when it comes to farting and flossing once again, but pretty funny. So it's kind of like the comedy that is similar to the first movie. Like, some jokes are meant to take it too seriously for the granted. And as for the action sequences, it's purely epic, from Sonic vs. Knuckles, the Death Egg Robot, from Tails riding in the tornado plane, and even the homage of those classic Sonic games, but they put it into the real world. And the animators, but one of my criticism is, I wish there was a bit of game references. Audience really appreciate it. Is a love letter to all Sonic fans, to all gamers. They would from the mid credits. I mean, if you got spoiled online for the mid credits, I'm sorry for you. I will talk about it. It's definitely 10 times better than the first movie. I consider it to be the smartest than Colleen O'Shaughnessy, Idris Elba, Lee Majdu, and the entire cast and crew. Energy that just feels so wholesome and makes it feel so fun while watching these movies. And it's here or there, but it's pretty minor that I love Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and it was just an amazing experience just to watch this movie pretty early on an early screening. So it's one of those experiences and for the rest of my life. So overall, I would give Sonic the Hedgehog 2 a 9 out of 10 for being a great video game movie adaptation, but also a sequel. It is the Spider-Man 2 of video game movies. So overall, those are my no spoilers review of Sonic the Hedgehog 2. What are your thoughts on the movie for those who have seen it right away? And I will make my full-on spoilers review after when I go see the movie again on Monday, April 11th. So I have Sonic Movie 2 videos aside from the spoilers review, and that'll be all what I have to say. So thank you guys for watching.